Hey, it's Alex. This is devlog number 10 for Red Hot Vengeance. I know it's been forever since the last devlog. I've been busy with a lot of other things, but this time I got more stuff to show you guys. So let's get started. Now, the biggest thing I've been working on this whole time is the levels. The level I teased at the end of the last video is now complete. It has a unique objective where you have to destroy all the explosive crates to complete the level. I've also finished the level after that, which takes place by the ocean, and for this level I had to create this water effect using a vertex buffer. I think it turned out pretty good. I also ended up reworking this level and one of the earlier levels that you haven't seen yet, but they were kind of poorly designed and they were bugging me, so that took a lot of the time too, just redesigning levels. I've also made a couple of gameplay related additions and changes. So firstly, with the shotgun, I've added the ability to cancel the reload. So say, for example, you're reloading the shotgun and there's a dude coming around the corner, and you can hit the fire button to stop reloading. I've also added a few more variants on the reloading animations. So now when you reload with a round already chambered, the reloading animation will only be replacing the magazine instead of also racking the slide. I've applied this to all the guns that needed it, including the shotgun, which is a bit cumbersome since the shotgun works so differently from the rest of the guns. I had to write special code for it. You might have noticed from this footage that I also changed the bullet graphics. It just uses a single sprite now, and I think it looks way better. The old one was basically just a stretched out sphere, so ellipsoid or whatever. Yeah, I think this one looks way better. Now, I've also added an aim assist feature. This is turned off by default, but you can activate it in the options menu, and it has two different levels of sensitivity. I should note that this is different from the lock-on button that was already in the game, but with aim assist turned on, you'll automatically aim directly at an enemy when your cursor is within a certain radius. On gamepad, however, you don't have full control of the crosshair, so it'll activate when you aim in their general direction. I thought this was a really important feature to add, actually, just because with the camera angle that I'm going with the game, precise aiming can be extremely difficult when you have to do it really fast. So the aim assist is I think it's kind of a game changer, actually, but of course it's optional. You don't need to play with it if you don't want to. Now, I've also updated the objectives display window. If you remember before, you'd hit a button and a panel would pop out from the side of the screen and show all the objectives for that level. Now, if you press tab or select, it will just show a single objective in the center of the screen. Doing it this way allows me to easily display your objective automatically when it updates without having like two separate systems for it. And it also allows me to make objectives that are more descriptive and kind of less redundant in the list format. So for example, a couple of levels have you repeat the same objective across multiple areas, and it didn't really make sense to have a list that says kill all the enemies on it 3 times in a row. That's just kind of redundant. It also looks better than having a giant panel pop out. So yeah, there you go. Now, one of the biggest changes that I made, and this won't even like affect the players, but the biggest change I made is that I've made all the textures in the game included files. So if you aren't familiar with how this works in GameMaker, basically you can either import all the textures directly into GameMaker, and they'll be compressed into the exe when you compile the game, or you can load them externally by placing them in the included files folder. This gives me more control over what's in memory. Before now, the game would just freeze for a few seconds when you launch it because it was just loading all the textures into memory, but now I have a loading screen as I'm manually loading the files. This also allows me to edit the textures way more easily because I can just open them up, edit them, and then save them. I don't have to re-import them as background resources into GameMaker anymore. The next thing I did was I went through each texture in the game and I adjusted the line widths so that they were more consistent with each other. Until now, some of them were like way thicker or way thinner than others, and it just didn't look very good. So I had to go through each texture and make sure that they all looked about the same in game. Along with this, I added some more detail to the floor by giving them textures. I've also made some new car models, and I scrapped the old ones. Before there were only 2, but now there's 4. It looks good for graphical variety, but they also provide different amounts of cover because of their different hitboxes. I've also improved some of the particle effects like the dust and the blood. Before they used 3D spheres, and now they just use a sprite, but it looks more like dust. Um, I've also added 2 new death animations. Before they would always just fall on their back when you kill them, but now there's a bit of variety in that as well. So yeah, that's all the new stuff since last time. Um, there's still a lot of work to be done. I need to make 6 more levels until the campaign is finished. All of them require me to make new assets. But then I need to put together the cutscenes that Max is drawing, and I also want to have a whole bunch of bonus levels, but making those shouldn't be too hard because I won't be making new assets for them. After that, it's just rigorous bug testing, and then I think the game will finally be done. My estimate is the game will be done sometime in the middle of 2019. It would be sooner, but it's hard to find a lot of time to work on the game because I'm going to school full-time again. I'm trying to get my bachelor's degree. But if you've been waiting for this game, just remember it can't always be my main focus. Down in the description, you'll find links to my other games on social media. If you follow me on Twitter, I've started occasionally posting some updates on the game as I make new features. I'll probably be doing more in the future, so if you don't want to wait for these videos for updates, you can follow me on Twitter. Well, that's it for this video, so until the next one, see you later!